Okay, so now I have enough time to actually do 2 more videos. But what you'll notice is that down below, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, right here, there's number 1. What I can do is I can click on that little icon, that little down arrow, and what you'll notice is this is the number of artboards that I have created. And I am going to select artboard number 2. Okay, if I would go command minus minus minus, let's do that. Command minus minus minus, you can see that I'm on the second artboard. And the way you can see that is, it's kind of hard, but you can see an outline of the artboard. So I'm going to go command 0 again. So this is my second artboard. What I want to do is to make this easier for you to do maybe later on. I am going to go ahead and go back to my first artboard. I'm going to move this, I'm going to delete this for the moment. Okay, and what we're going to do is I'm going to use my type tool. And unlike InDesign, I'm not going to drag it. I'm just going to click. And once I click, what you'll notice is I have a cursor here. We put the type tool in my menu bar, and I'm going to just increase the size just a little bit so you guys can see that cursor a little bit better. And I'm going to type in my emergence. Emergence. There you go. Okay, and I'm going to center align it. Okay, so now it's center aligned, and I'm going to use my selection tool to kind of move it in place. And you'll notice that here, that green little line is telling me where it is. I'm going to copy it. Okay, and now I'm going to go and I am going to paste it. And what this says is, can I paste this to all the artboards? Yes, you may. And now let's go command minus minus minus. And what you'll notice is I have now a little reminder on all my artboards that I need a title on each of them. And this is going to be really helpful when you start keeping track of and trying to come through and hand in your assignment. So again, I'm going to go command 0. Okay, this is my first artboard. Right there's the number 1. And this is really not going to be, this is going to be home page. Whoops, command Z. Well, I have 2 of them here. That's why, because I pasted it on every page. Let's see if I delete it. Command Z. Okay, let's see if that'll work. I pasted it on every page, so I went over this one as well. So this time I'm going to type in home page. Okay, home page artwork. Okay, then I'm going to go to my next artboard, and I'm sure there's a quick key for that. And this one's emergent, so we're good there. My third artboard, this is going to be, and it's, I'm double checking, yeah, it's 3. And this is reification. Hopefully I spelled that correctly. Go to the 4th artboard, and this is going to be stability. Okay, so and then my 5th artboard. And what is the 5th artboard? The 5th artboard would be multi-stability. Escapes me. Hell to get old. Okay. Anyway, we'll come back to that. So I'm going to go back to my I'm going to go to my second artboard. And again, I'm not going to do anything that has emergence in it, but there's a couple other things that you need to know before these videos end. Okay, so we've been working with rectangles and angular objects. So this time what I want to do is I'm going to select something with I'm going to create an ellipse. Now, if I want a circle, I'm going to hold down the Shift key, press, and drag. If I hold my Shift key plus my Option key, it's going to open up from the center. And what you'll notice here is that I have a fill. I'm going to go Command Z again, make it just a line. And let's try it. So I'm in my circle. I'm holding down the Shift key. And you'll notice that if I make it, it's dragging either up, down, okay, to make that circle. If I'm holding down the Option key at the same time, I can make that grow from the center. Now I'm going to release it. Now, what you'll notice here is that, again, I'm going to use my selection tool. Here are my nodes. And again, I could make this into an egg if I chose. Okay, now I have, well, kind of an egg, right? So I can do that, and I can, hold it down so I can make it oblong rather than, work with the height. If I go with my selection tool, there are my nodes again. And the first thing I want to do is deselect something. So deselect, click anywhere on the artboard. Now I'm coming over to my anchor point. And you might say, Bill, where are my anchor points? Well, the anchor points, you're just going to have to realize that they're usually on the sides and the very top and bottom. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to pull it up. Now it's starting to look like an egg. These are called handles, and what these do is these affect the shape of your curve. And you'll notice that they act right now like a teeter-totter. I can break that apart if I chose, and I'm going to do that right now. And the way I'm going to break it apart is I'm going to go click on my pen tool, and I'm going to come over here, and again, what I need to do is I need to hold down my Option key. Do you see how that's changing? Now what I can do is I can play with those handles separately. Click on it again, come over here. Oopsie, I missed it. There you go. Now I can deal with those handles separately. If I want them to revert back to, and what you're seeing here is my Option key. And every time you see the pen tool, my Option key is up. Down, you see that little triangle. If I click right here, now what I can do is I can drag it out. And you'll notice that they're both coming out at the same way. So here's my egg again. Okay. Now, the other thing that I can do is, if you notice, if I come over to any of these anchor points, if I see that minus sign, I can click on it and it goes away. Command Z. If I want to add an anchor point, see that plus sign? If I click, now I have that on the line, and I can move this out, hold down the Option key. Okay, I can make it really kind of weird if I wanted to. Okay, now I can drag it so it's both even. Now it's a lumpy egg. Okay, come over here. I can smooth out that curve a little bit or make it more severe if I wanted to. Okay, and all I'm doing is I'm holding down the Option key and going over what I would call those handles. Oh, you know what this is? A spaceship. Okay, so if I use my selection tool, I get my nodes. I can take and I can hold on the Shift key and the Option key, both at the same time. It grows from the center. I can go ahead, click on it, and bring it down, holding down my arrow key. Okay, we got that going on. So that's pretty good. Okay, so now we have that done. Now what I may want to do is color it. Now I recommended, if I wanted to, I could make a really heavy outline. And the heavy outline is right up here. It's called a stroke or a path. And I can go and I can say, okay, again, I have to select it. Nothing happens if I don't select it. So come down here. Now it's a 7-point line. I can also change the shape of that line by making it non-uniform. And I can come here and I can make it look really, really sketchy. Come back here, make it larger again. Okay, now I have this sort of weird sort of line. If I wanted to make the inside a color, I can double click. This is called my fill, and that's the inside of this shape. I'm going to double click it, and let's make it gray. Remember, this assignment's all about grays. Grays, blacks, and whites. So now I made it gray. If I wanted to make that path a little less severe, again, I can bring the path or stroke, and you see it says stroke, double click, and this time I can say, okay, you know what, I want a light gray around it, and so now I have a light gray around it. Okay, so what you're seeing here, now if I wanted to make a hole in the center of it, and I can do that, okay, that says the center, hold the Option key down, hold the Shift key down, press and drag, okay. Now I'm going to just swap. Do you see this double toggle? I'm going to click on it and it's going to swap for me. If I want to make it really white like the background, I can come over here and make it white. Okay, now this has a stroke, and let's say I don't want that stroke colored, I can make it none. If I see a red line here, that means that stroke, see the stroke? Okay, is none. If it's white, that means that it's white. If I click on the right here, let's make this none. So now that has no color in it. If I want to go back to the default colors, this little double square here, I can click on that, and now I have the default colors. If I want to make this none, click here, now it's none. Now, if I click on this and I start moving things around, what you'll notice is that they're moving separately. If I hold down my Shift key and select the circle plus this, now they're going to move together. And in fact, I can link these forever. And the way I can link them forever is making them a group, Command G. Now they are a group. And if I wanted to, I could make them. Now they'll react together as a group. On my Option key, forever and a day. Okay, the only problem is I have a little bit of a problem if I want to change the color. So then I'm going to have to come to my Direction tool, deselect, select this, click my fill, and then maybe make it darker if I wanted to make it darker. Or if I wanted to make this lighter, come here, and make it grayer, I can do that. Okay, so select all. I can move them down towards the center. And again, what you'll notice is by selecting all, look at what happened to my emergence, Command Z. So what I want to do in this case is marquee over them. Now I can move them as a unit, and I can get them to be centered. Okay. So that is how you handle circles and curves and handles.